Former Teamsters boss Jimmy Hoffa may have been murdered because he refused to okay a $9 million loan to an Essex County developer. Published reports today said links between the loan and Hoffa's disappearance are the subject of a federal grand jury investigation that began 10 months ago. Both the Wall Street Journal and the Trenton Times reported today Hoffa and New Jersey Teamsters boss Anthony Provenzano disagreed over the loan to Salvatore Malfitano of Fairfield. Documents filed in Newark federal court allege Malfitano agreed to spread $900,000 in kickbacks among Teamster officials if he got a $9 million loan from the Teamsters Central States Pension Fund. Hoffa reportedly opposed the deal. Provenzano and others allegedly wanted it. Hoffa disappeared July 30th, 1975, and the loan, the newspapers say, was never given because of the scrutiny generated by Hoffa's disappearance.
Did Tony Pro have Jimmy Hoffa kidnapped and killed because Hoffa was trying to kill Tony Pro? That's the question raised in the story today in the Philadelphia Bulletin. The paper says a hired killer, now talking to authorities, says he and another gunman were hired by Hoffa to kill Teamsters rival Anthony Provenzano, but the killer balked, went to Tony Pro instead, and that's when Hoffa disappeared. The paper says investigators are looking into the story as establishing a motive for Hoffa's murder. Rebecca?
5 New Jersey Teamsters officials, including the imprisoned Anthony Tony Pro Provenzano, were charged today with shaking down trucking companies to ensure labor peace. The federal indictments allege that the racketeering stretched from 1969 to 1977. Provenzano, whose home is in Clifton, is now doing a life term in New York State for the murder of a Teamsters rival. But even behind bars, he may still control Teamsters Local 560 in Union City through family and associates. The others charged today are present or former 560 officials. They are Stephen Andretta of Fort Lee, his brother Thomas of Paramus, Gabriel Berguglio of East Rutherford, and Ralph Pelleccia of Union. And all except Pelleccia were questioned in the disappearance of former Teamsters boss Jimmy Hoffa. Rebecca? There's another new story out on what really happened to Jimmy Hoffa, bashed in the head in Detroit, cut up in little pieces in New Jersey, and dumped in a swamp in Florida. And there is another new story out on what really happened to Jimmy Hoffa, the former Teamsters president. The Philadelphia Bulletin today is reporting that law enforcement sources say a former mob hitman from New Jersey, identified as Charles Allen, has now turned informer, and he is telling this version of how Hoffa was killed and his body disposed of. The story is that Hoffa was bashed in the head with a baseball bat in Detroit by a 6-foot, 4-inch, 240-pound killer known to Allen only as Monster Man. Hoffa's body was then brought to New Jersey, where it was cut up by 3 men into pieces a foot long and 4 inches wide. The pieces were packed into 2 55-gallon drums. The drums were then taken to a Florida swamp and dumped.